and I think we've seen that emotion come out from people all around the world, really. So today you can probably hear the sounds of celebrations. We've been hearing some celebratory gunfire. I can assure you that every Egyptian, whether they're stepping in Egyptian soil right now or if they're abroad, they're feeling a great sense of pride, because for the first time in a long time, perhaps even in the modern history of this country, Egyptians' voice has been heard by their government. And this is what is so unique about this. It has changed the dynamic for every Egyptian who have felt a sense of empowerment. They have now, for the first time really, at least in my generation, and I can speak at least even in my parents' generation, their voices have been heard. And for the first time, they're going to take at least some kind of control in paving the way forward for their future. The questions really are going to be very challenging, but tonight it's taking a sense of pride in that the people that have been dormant for so long have indeed risen and demanded a better future for themselves. So it is a very emotional night. I can tell you that as an Egyptian who was born here, there's no doubt that I never thought that I would actually live to see a day like this, because you hear about Egypt in the past from your parents and grandparents, the sacrifices that so many Egyptians have made to live abroad and immigrate, seeing that better future. Tonight they're realizing that the people here in this country have gotten one step closer to making that future better.
Ayman, many thanks indeed. Ayman Nokyadin there, live in Cairo. Let's just remind you, if you've just joined us, this is an historic day. After 18 days of protests, President Mubarak of Egypt has resigned. Vice President Omar Suleiman came on national television just a short while ago and said that Mubarak has given up his post as president and has asked the armed forces to be in charge of the country's affairs. Tahrir Square erupted in celebration. Listen to that noise. That's the situation in Liberation Square, Tahrir Square in central Cairo. Let's take you now to the presidential palace. Al Jazeera's Rabia Raghi is there. What's happening there, Rabia?
Adrian, the sense of euphoria here is simply indescribable. I am trying to gather the words, the sentences to describe to you the sentiment here, but it's simply indescribable. The moment the announcement was made, people were crying, some people fell to their knees, praying immediately on the floor. The tears are everywhere, the smiles, the dances. You would think that people were actually hitting drums, but they were simply stomping the asphalt with their own feet. Homemade fireworks immediately from the balconies, people setting on fire, iron-cold cans, music, chanting. It's just simply indescribable. 30 years of rule summed up in a 30-second statement. It's just simply unbelievable. I'm 30 years old, Adrian. I was born the week President Mubarak assumed power. All my years of life, I have known one president, and I can tell you, I have never seen this sentiment on the streets of Egypt. Not even when Egypt won for the third time in a row the African Cup of Nations. Nothing like that. The sentiment is simply indescribable. Outside the presidential palace, people immediately started marching, saying they're going to join the other protesters in Tahrir Square.
Rabia, many thanks indeed. Al Jazeera's Rabia Raghi there, another of our correspondents, Egyptian-born, and she was saying exemplary reporting, impartial all the way through this crisis in Egypt. Until this moment, I think we can forgive her telling us how she really feels there about what has happened in Egypt today. She's known no other president. She was born in the week that Hosni Mubarak came to power. That's compelling stuff. Let's bring in Hoda Abdul Hamid, who is overlooking that massive celebration in Tahrir Square. Hoda, I know you can't hear me. Tell us what it was like the moment people realized that Mubarak had gone.
undescribable. I mean, I cannot convey better than the sound of joy and excitement that is emanating from the square here, 12 floors below me. It is just an incredible scene, and wherever you look, people are dancing, flags are waving, and I think it's a historic moment that actually injected a huge amount of pride and dignity into the Egyptian people, a feeling they had not had for such a long time. That's the feeling that pushed them to actually start all this, to decide that's enough, we want to be proud in our country, we want our rights, and I think they got it. Earlier I was speaking to some of the people here on the square, and they said they were angry, they were patient, and they said, well, if Tunis, such a small country, took 23 days, then it will take us much, much longer, and it took them actually a few days less than the Tunisian people. But I don't think I can really convey to you the excitement that is on the square at the moment.
All right, Hada, many thanks. Hada Abdulhamid, again, someone who's been there right the way through all of this since it began some 18 days ago. Let's speak now to Al Jazeera's Shireen Tadros, who's actually down there among it all in Liberation Square. Shireen. Well, it's obviously so noisy that Shireen can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Shireen, tell us what it's like.
It's absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like this. People are fainting. They're carrying them up through the crowd. They're spraying water on people just to try and keep people up because of the just complete excitement. But really, words fail me to describe what is going on here. The news started filtering through just as the prayers, the evening prayers, were coming to an end. So we have these hundreds of people on the floor praying, and suddenly they all rose up at the same time and put their hands in the air and they said, God is great. And now they're shouting and screaming, saying, the people have brought the regime down. The chants that we've heard in the past week saying the people want the regime to come down. Now it's happened, and it all happened here in the epicenter of this protest, Liberation Square. It started here. 3 weeks of this uprising to bring down the 30-year regime, and people here are absolutely ecstatic. Anyone that could have thought that perhaps a change in this kind of change with the end of Mubarak's presidency could have brought people to be afraid of the future should really watch these scenes. Nobody here is afraid. Everybody is looking forward to what comes next. Even people here who are young, they have known no one else but President Mubarak. They know that they deserve better, and they feel that they're about to get it.
Shireen, many thanks indeed. Shireen Tadros, who's down there among that crowd in Cairo's Liberation Square.